Hey everyone, happy second day of summer and happy Father's Day to all the great dads out there. I thought this would be the perfect day to take you guys on a tour of the entire garden. So stay tuned. Alright, so we're going to start out from our traditional spot and just give you a wide shot of what we've got going on. And I'm going to go ahead and put up a link down below to the tour of the tropicals that I did last summer. That's going to show you the names of all of these plants, in case you're here for that. I think most of you are here for the vegetable garden. One thing new this year for the tropicals is I've got an entire drip system, mist system, and everything, and they seem to be really loving it. Every plant is really getting what they need in terms of moisture. And I've had a lot of people ask me if it takes a lot of water. And it actually doesn't. It takes less than the lawn I'm standing on. When I first designed this, almost everything you see, especially in the back, are all container grown. They're containers that are concealed by the lava rock. And in those containers, I have very rich organic matter. I have a lot of water absorbent polymers. And it's all watered by drip now. So even last year it took less water than the lawn, but for sure it does now. These are the tallest cannas I've ever grown. They've got to be 15 feet tall. And the banana leaves are just starting to fill out. We had a lot of wind in the spring, early spring, that kind of shredded the leaves, and the new ones are now coming out to replace them. I planted a bunch of coleus from seed, and that's starting to come through now really strong, showing a lot of good color. Now this blood leaf here that everyone loves, everyone's been commenting on that. As soon as this tour is over, I'm chopping it way back. It's completely obnoxiously grown over its borders. All right, so that's the tropical part. All right, so I'm going to start with the pepper bed. I've got several different kinds of peppers. I've got some bell peppers here. I've got some poblanos. The three in the back are called sweetie drops, which are really small, great for pickling. They're super sweet. I've got my habaneras again did not make it. This is the second year we failed at those. These two here are Jimmy Nardello. And these here are gold bell peppers, these three. That's a red bell pepper. And then I've got some shishitos here. Now this is the third year for this plant. I've overwintered it twice, I guess. My Echinacea, this one's not growing as fast as the others. I've got buds on some of the, or blooms actually on some of the others. I've got some, what is this called? Hyssop here for the pollinators. Really working on attracting the pollinators this year, and it seems to be working. My beans, I've got the scarlet runners. Well, I'll just stick with this bed. I've got scarlet runners here, and then back here in the back, we've got some cosmos for the pollinators again. I love these big double flowers. Right here, something I've never grown before, is my Malabar spinach. And I can tell by the way it feels, it's not going to be like spinach. A lot of people have said it's slimy, and I can see that. The leaves are very succulent. I do love the flowers on it though. Look at these. And I love how it grows. It's very tropical looking. So even if I don't eat it, I like the look. The blackberries are just about done. I probably have one final small harvest. And I'm going to do a video in a couple of weeks, a follow-up to the last blackberry video, which I'll link below if you have blackberries and want to know how to prune them. All of these right here that are laying on the ground are next year's crop. And all of these you see up here are going to be cut down and replaced by all these on the ground. But I'll do a video on that. I'm also going to do a video. It's coming time to harvest these potatoes in these containers. All right, so my cucumber and squash in the buckets, they're doing pretty good. I just changed the watering schedule. I think they were not getting enough water, so I just adjusted the drip on those, and hopefully that'll do something. And right here, this plant that's taking over literally spots I had for two things are my Birdhouse Gourds. And there's one right there. That's the biggest one I've got so far. So just something fun. However, the funny thing about this is, I know back in, March when this whole pandemic thing started and toilet paper was scarce, there was a lot of garden YouTubers who were talking about garden substitutions for toilet paper. And I tell you right now, this is my choice. This Birdhouse Gourd has the softest leaves I have ever felt. Usually the squash family is known for its prickly leaves. These feel like velvet. If you've ever felt a lamb's ear plant, very similar. So in case this pandemic wears on and toilet paper scarce again, get yourself a Birdhouse Gourd. All right, so this is the squash bed. And if you watched my video a couple of days ago on pollinating squash, you know that I said that in the past, I had grown many types of squash, one plant for each type, and that didn't leave a lot of room for pollinators and flowers to be open at the same time. So one of the things that I did this year, in addition to planting more flowers to attract the pollinators, is to only choose my two favorite kinds, a zucchini type and a yellow type, and plant more of each one. That way, it's a better chance that there's flowers, males and females, open at the same time. All right, this bean here is Blauhilde. I've got beans in all three beds on the end here to kind of flank the pathway. But this is the purple bean, and it's not as full as the scarlet runner beans, but we'll give it the season. I've never grown this one before, so we'll see how it goes. Another scarlet runner bean here. And my Echinacea is actually getting ready to open up fully. Got some Swiss chard along the back, some mature red chard. I've got yellow and another red on the other side. And then in the front here is my okra. Got okra all along the front here. I've never grown okra. I love okra, fried, my southern roots. But my grandparents used to live here at this house, and they grew okra. Got my loofah here climbing. It's getting started. We've got lots of runners I've got to feed into this trellis. Got my first female bloom. There's the fruit right there. Unfortunately, I do not see a male bloom, so that's probably not going to work yet. I've got some bunching onions here. And then here is my corn in the two purple Cali Kim Smart Pots. And it's actually doing really, really well. Let's see. Oh, there's a tassel right there. All right, a quick break from the veggies, and we're back into the tropical. Just a closer look at the pond. I have a UV filter in here, and a week ago, this pond started getting green with algae, like water, and the water was cloudy. Didn't realize I never plugged the actual UV light in for the filter since last, fall. So did that, and within 24 hours, it was crystal clear again. So my bog garden over here, these are the water chestnuts. I love the look of these. They're hollow like onions, but they're a little bit stiffer and kind of have this corkscrewy pattern. Really like that. I've got some papyrus planted here. This will get about 7 feet tall. And then I've got my taro growing over here. All this is edible, even the canna lilies in the back. They're all edible, even though I don't think I will eat them. I have made poi before from the taro, though. Let's go back here and take a look. I was actually on a hike here in Southern California, and I found some of these plants growing along a stream, and dug a little piece up, threw it in a water bottle, and brought it home, and I was able to get it to grow. Don't know what it's called. I did it one time. Again, if you want to know what some of these plants are, watch the video I will link from last summer that goes through all of that. I've got my milkweed over here for our monarchs. We had a ton of caterpillars on there. I think they're all getting eaten by the birds, though. My first plumeria of the year. And it's a little bit misshapen. Smells good, though. All right, back to the vegetables. Along the back, I've got my tomatoes. You can see some tomatoes here and some hooks, little clips. I guess I'll take this moment to say I have an update on the hooks. They're hoping by the end of this month, but you guys, I don't know. I'm thinking of coming up with something else. I don't know if they're going to pull through. This whole Amazon thing is getting ridiculous. But these are something I'm trying for next year. There are some clips to keep the branches from breaking. I mean, that's a lot of tomatoes for a little branch. And so I'll let you know how these work. But I've got a lot of good heirlooms here coming along. Golden Jubilee, Kellogg's Breakfast, beefsteak, my basil in the front. Now this front bed, most of this is going to be devoted to wildflowers. I actually just sowed some wildflower seed all in here. I do have some red onions along the front, more Echinacea. My watermelon is doing really well. Oh, there's a baby one right there. Can you see that? Is it focused? I don't know. So I'm getting that to grow up this teepee here by tying them on. Okay, so here's an update. Remember I planted garlic last fall, and I planted it 2 different ways. The first one I planted on this side just straight from the package, and then the others I refrigerated for 6 weeks and planted them on this side. Now all through the growing season, the ones that were not refrigerated were big, healthy looking. The ones that were refrigerated were smaller, not so robust looking. And so I thought, well, maybe that's because they're putting their energy into the garlic bulb. Because the thought on this is we don't get a cold winter here. We don't get cold weather. And so putting them in the refrigerator mimics the winter time. And we'll get them to clove better and be better. Well, you guys, you can see here. These are the ones that were not refrigerated, and they are huge, and they are cloved. And these are the ones that were refrigerated. So take a look at the size difference there. So next year, or this fall, I will not be refrigerating my garlic. So my herbs, I've got peppermint, I've got catmint, which is great for anxiety and sleep. I've got lemon balm, oregano, rosemary and thyme, which aren't doing so hot, and some lavender. Now, right here, let me go back out front. I've got Armenian cucumbers, which are doing well. There's still no female flowers yet, all male, so we're just hoping those show up soon. Purple basil, some nasturtiums volunteering themselves, more echinacea, and a volunteer sunflower, which actually came up out there, and I moved it. Last year we planted them out there, and sunflowers follow the sun. The sun is that way. And so all of the sunflowers were facing the neighbor. So I brought him over here to face this way so we can see him. All right, got some lemons on my espalier here, which need to be harvested. We've got 2 different varieties of apple. We've got Anna and I forget the other name, I'll tell you in just a second. Strawberries are doing really well. I will tell you, I did not have drip in here and I forgot to water, and a lot of this happened because there's not a lot of dirt. Ooh, that's really wet. I might need to adjust that. But since I started the drip line in here, this all has just put out so much new growth in just about a week and a half. So the apples need to be harvested. And let me see the name of these. Hold on. Where's the bottom? That's Anna. And this is, Dorset Golden. Oh, didn't see this. This is Shell Ginger. And it's called that because these look like shells. Now each one of these will open up into like a little orchid looking type bloom. So that's pretty much it. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, and I will see you guys on Tuesday.